Let's move now to the USA and the news that President Donald Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, has contracted COVID-19. The 76-year-old lawyer is heading up Trump's election fraud court cases, which continue with no success. I'm joined now by our Washington correspondent, Simon Marks. Simon, great to chat to you as always. Just tell us about Rudy Giuliani. How's he doing? How much of an impact will it have had on people he's come into contact with?
Well, he says he's feeling fine, Sally. He was admitted over the weekend to Georgetown University Medical Center here in Washington, D.C. I mean, I think it's fair to say that the fact that he's contracted COVID-19 is not surprising. We knew that last week several members of his inner circle had tested positive for coronavirus. There were questions then about his status. He confirmed over the weekend that he too had contracted COVID-19. But this issue of whether Rudy Giuliani himself has been a super spreader of the virus is now a very active question, because he has been all over the battleground states advancing the president's entirely false claims that this election was rigged in Joe Biden's favor. Rudy Giuliani participating in a series of hearings with witnesses who were testifying about what they claim were election irregularities that they had witnessed. And at no point in any of those hearings was Rudy Giuliani observing any kind of social distancing, any kind of mask wearing. Indeed, at one point, he asked one of his star witnesses to remove her face mask at the hearing so she could better be heard by Republican lawmakers who were in attendance. So there are going to be hundreds of people out there that now have to be found and traced. We already know that the state legislature in Arizona has shut up shop for a few days because several Republican members of that assembly were exposed to Rudy Giuliani. And it's also worth making the point that Mr. Giuliani is just one of more than 1 million people who were confirmed to have contracted COVID-19 in the first 6 days of December in the United States alone.
Wow. I mean, that is quite a startling amount of people. We know that the vaccine is being rushed through, but it can't come a moment too soon, can it, Simon?
No, and it's not going to come quickly enough to save a large number of lives. Today is Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. It was on this day in 1941 that the Japanese attacked the US naval base at Pearl Harbor, and that, of course, brought the United States into World War II. On that day in 1941, 2,403 people were killed in the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. Every single day here for the last week, the daily death toll from COVID-19 has been higher than that number of people killed on a day that President Franklin Delano Roosevelt told the world would live in infamy. So every single day now, more people are dying in the United States than died in the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. It is going to be months before the vast majority of Americans get access to vaccines, and this all suggests that Joe Biden, when he becomes president at the end of January here, January the 20th, is going to be inheriting a catastrophe from a public health perspective.
There's a deadline a little bit later this month when the election results have to be finally certified. Just tell us about that deadline and what's going to happen to it, bearing in mind that we're seeing more and more court cases. They don't seem to be dying down.
Yeah, they're not dying down. We're now up to 47 separate losses that the Trump team has experienced. The so-called biblical filing that they were bringing in the state of Georgia was thrown out of the courts there a few hours ago. A third recount in Georgia has just wrapped up. It shows once again that Joe Biden won the state. So next Monday, a week ago today, is the day that the Electoral College members formally meet and will formally certify, we think, we presume, that Joe Biden has won the election. What Donald Trump is going to do between now and then, with Rudy Giuliani out of the picture, to try and subvert that Electoral College meeting is not yet clear. But Donald Trump, in sending best wishes to Mr. Giuliani on his Twitter account a few hours ago, said that he will fight on for the moment without him.
Right, so December the 14th then is that deadline, is that right? Right.
That's correct, yeah. A week ago today, December the 14th, is the deadline for the Electoral College to meet, and then on January the 6th, that's the sort of the final date in the diary, because that's the day a joint session of Congress rubber stamps the decision that the Electoral College has made. So assuming the Electoral College next Monday certifies Joe Biden the winner, then the action moves to Capitol Hill for that joint session of Congress on January the 6th.
Thank you so much. That was Simon Marks, our correspondent in Washington.